Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Media, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Rashid Hammond, and alongside
It's your boy, Mr. Hit the like button, sub to the page. It's your man, Caesar Fantastic. We got
well,
you.
today, ladies and gentlemen, I got a very special guest in the building, man. I'm talking Hillcrest days, man, when it all, man, when we had guys to look up to, man, and this brother was somebody that I looked up to. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no other than DMV Boxing Legend Lamont Pearson. How's it going, brother?
What's up, Rashid? Hey, man, first, before we get started, man, hey, you know I love what you're doing, bro, with boxing, putting the spotlight on the DMV fighters, man. I appreciate what you two are doing. I'm keeping up with you way down here in Atlanta, bro.
Yes, indeed, brother, man. Listen, we go back, man, all the way back, man. I remember when you and my father, man, was working together, man, and I think you stopped fighting during that time. Am I correct?
Yeah, you correct.
And did he have anything convincing you to make a comeback?
Well, he did. He kept me abreast on what he was doing with you guys. He he elevated you guys. He started like as a father to in the gym, and he stepped up and we working together. I wasn't fighting at the time, but he had stories about me. But yes, he was instrumental in me coming back mentally.
Yeah. And you came back and you kicked butt, man. You wasn't playing games during that second round, man. When did you start boxing?
Start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I started. Actually, a lot of people don't know. I grew up around Mayfair and Paradise, Northeast.
Okay.
And I was a little kid playing football with Paradise Ramblers. And after practice, we used to practice over in Kenilworth Park. And after practice, we went to the Kenilworth Rec.
Okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, they had wrestling. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they had boxing.
Okay.
I went on the wrong day. I went like on a Wednesday, and they was boxing. Okay. They was in a room with a mat. If you ever been in there, it was in a room with a mat just clutching.
Right.
I walked in and all this noise. I walked in the room. It was like a little classroom. I walked in. Instantly, I said, I want to do that. That's what I didn't know what they were doing, but I was a hard knucklehead. I want to do that. So I didn't tell my mother. I signed up.
Okay.
Back then, we was a little independent. We can do what we want. We can stay outside as little 10 and 12-year-olds. So I signed up. It wasn't until I had an exhibition at Palmer Park, the old Palmer Park. I had an exhibition with Curtis Peoples.
Oh, wow.
All I remember is me doing like this. All I remember is me keeping my hands up with Curtis Peoples. And at this time, I was 11, 12 years old. And I can hear all the Kenilworth people, man, you better take it easy on him. You better that was Doc, Sugar Joe, Toy, Paul Freeman, those guys. So that's when I started. I came home with a little trophy, and that's when I told my mom that I was a boxer.
Man, that story, your story is similar, man. That was another story by another fighter. Who was that shared that story?
It was Boogie. It was Boogie.
Alexander.
And then also Alexander also shared the same story too. It was two different. Boogie as well had the same story where their parents didn't know they were boxing and they just brought home the trophy and that's how they found out, man. That's how it was back in those days. So
yeah, that's how it was. Yep.
So you was with Kenny. Was that Kenny, Coach Kenny?
Yeah, I was with Kenny, and then we moved to Maryland. We moved to Capitol Heights.
Okay.
And I had to leave there, and it was another fortunate event where my stepfather used to work with McCain at the Department of Interior.
Okay.
He used to work with Mac.
Oh, wow.
And he used to say, "Well, I got a trainer, and I know a trainer." I was like, "All right, So shout out to my mother. Used to drive me all the way from Capitol Heights to Iverson Mall for 2 hours while she shopped.
Wow.
So I met McCain, and that's when the Hillcrest legacy started.
What year when was that? Well, how was you when that happened?
That was real soon. That was hold up. 90 man. I graduated 80. That was like 85.
Okay.
Hold hold up. Is it 85? Yeah, I graduated 89, ninth grade. Oh, 85. Damn, that's a good one. About 84, 85.
Okay.
Because I was in middle school. I graduated 89, about 80, 83, 84, 85, somewhere around there.
Give us some let's go back to 85. Tell me how was the boxing scene back in 85?
85, man. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed the fire department coming and threatening to shut Hillcrest down.
Right.
Because there was so many people in the crowds. I remember Rayful Edmonds, man, all you just remember just the money, the bets, everything.
Yeah.
Right? I was a little kid. I was still junior. And it was awesome. It was an awesome feeling. And I hear you talk about the back room in Hillcrest, all the way in the back. I wasn't able to experience that because we was up at the front at the top.
Y'all had the front at the other end for y'all.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was VIP, but all the action was in the back.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, so Hillcrest, man, definitely a legacy back in the 80s. The late 80s, it was packed room only, standing room only.
Sean Bay Mitchell was on here, was on the DMV Boxing Legend one. And he talked about how him and the guy, what's his name? He mentioned the guy that they said they had Rafis was betting and
what's his Madman Newt?
Madman Newt, remember Madman would bring 1,000 people up in that
bro.
joint, man,
hey, I was a junior. I was a junior, man. I was a junior fighter, and I used to just sit up there. Oh, it was just crazy, bro. You would think it was showtime.
Yeah, exactly. That's real talk, man. People don't understand how vicious the Golden Gloves was back there. And you know who it was? It was Lulu. Him and Lulu fought.
Okay, all right. And I mean, Sean Bay said they in and out that 1-2, mesmerize them every time. I mean, you talking back when Gary Payne.
Yeah.
Man, what's the young used to Burgess AC? Man, it was so many. It was so many. Doogie. It was a squad.
Yes, indeed. Lou said something about did you ever put in work with Star Child, Antonio Reese?
Nah, Star Child, we grew up together. He was on Parkside. We went to Neville Thomas Elementary together. Okay. So when I started fighting, that was before Keith Holmes, before Star Child. We all grew up around Mayfair Paradise. Okay. So when I moved away, they came in later.
Okay.
That's when I stopped. So I made it in high school. I made it 88. I made the Nationals in 88.
Okay.
I made it to the quarterfinals in 88. I graduated 89. I was still in high school. So that's when I was coming up. So, and I had some unfortunate things that occurred in the gym. Nothing bad. It's just that whatever I was experiencing, Kane and Tom, I just didn't feel like it was conducive for me to continue with that, because I felt like I wanted to be top tier.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like a opponent. I was like, man, you getting $100 a round, $2,000, and they losing. So I was around, not the greatest atmosphere that I saw.
Yeah.
Coming up. So that's when I was like, hold up, I gotta give me a career. So that's when I laid off.
Okay. So what you did was went and found you had put a foundation in front first before.
Right. I had to put a foundation. Like yeah. So, I went to PG for 1 year and bounced around some jobs. That's when I met your father. And believe it or not, your father, he was on that financial thing.
Yeah.
He the one told me about the Alger Fund.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen.
The Alger. Hey.
I just cashed in my Alger.
Huh?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I'm listening.
He told me about the Alger Fund, no load. So he got me into the finance. So that's around my kick. I wanted to be a businessman. So,
okay.
So I messed around, applied for the post office. I had I graduated from Test Electronics.
Okay.
I had a copy machine job, and then I landed with the post office in '94.
Okay.
And me and Raymond Jackson I called him my cousin. We've known each other since childhood. And we was playing tennis one day, man. He was like, man, why don't you go back fighting? And you say, I laid off for about 5 years, 6 years. So, and I got a late start, as they say. So I was like 25.
Right.
So that's when I came back.
Right.
And oh boy, if I put it all to it, I was married at the time. And I was married, to my first wife at the time. And I said, look, just give me 5 years. She's like, you sure you want to? Just give me 5 years of support.
Yeah.
So I grind. And like the first 2 years, ain't nobody go the distance.
I remember that right hand. You was dropping them left and right, bro.
Yes, sir.
that right hand was mean, Joe.
And it all comes from, because I'm an avid bowler too.
Okay.
So I got I use everything in this right hand. So my forearms are really big for my size. Yeah. And I just, that right hand just, been deadly.
So after you made that comeback, I remember, man, your weight class, you was known for 132 at that time.
Yeah.
Then I know you moved. Didn't you go to 139 after that, right? Later down.
Nah, I never fought 139. The highest I was 125. Okay. So I was 125 as a novice. I went from junior to novice.
Okay.
And let's go back. Let's go back to 88, because this little story here, don't nobody probably know.
Okay.
It was 88. And rest in peace. This is my man Hinton.
Okay.
He had already secured his spot for the Olympics for Colorado trial at 19.
Okay.
All right. So I had my first open fight against Sean Bay Mitchell.
What?
At 125. See, nobody know that.
I know that. Yes, indeed. God dang.
I had my first open fight against Sean Bay Mitchell. And he mesmerized me with that 1-2, that bounce, pop, 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 pop. But I had to put up a good fight. So I'm not sure if I wasn't into it, but I'm not sure if they had a 119 yet for the Nationals.
Okay.
So they asked me to go in the 119 at Nationals, even though I lost to Sean Bay in the championship.
Okay.
So they asked me to go to 119. So I went to the Nationals. That was Omaha, Nebraska at the time. That was a year Mark won it.
Okay.
I had Chill Will in there.
Okay.
I had Boogie, who lost the championship against the Hawaiian, and he still won that fight. I think he won that fight. So I made it to the quarterfinals in 88. With that. So that's when after that I graduated, and that's when I laid off.
Okay. Wow. I didn't never know that, man. That's why I like this show, man, because we get the stories that we didn't, that most people don't know, because back in those days we didn't have social media or no way to present some of this stuff that we do, man.
Right.
Wow,
hey,
man.
I mean, other fighters, I fought, matter of fact, I fought Jermaine Fields twice. We 1-1. That's my man. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
See?
God dang. Oh, God dang.
And then, me and Jermaine fought. Jermaine was nice.
Yeah, Jermaine was nice, man.
It was real nice. So I fought a couple of people, especially when I was coming back. I even fought, I was a PTF carrier. My last fight with Jermaine, when my supervisor wouldn't let me off that Saturday, I had to carry mail, then go fight.
Go to work. I ain't no way in the God dang. That's mean.
The amateurs, yo, I had to go to work. We had that Sugar Ray Leonard championship.
Yeah. What was that, the Golden Glove? What was that? What was the ABF back then?
It might be an ABF, because let me tell you another thing. When I turned pro, when I came back, that was the longest I fought.
Yeah,
that was the longest I fought consecutively.
Yeah,
Because at the time, we lay off. I had football, bowling. I was doing other activities, and McCain was always call me 2 or 3 weeks before the Golden Gloves or the ABF. Then I'm always in shape. I'm always ready. So that's when I would come back, get trophies and things like that. So, that's my little story, man. Nobody knows, but
and I ain't know that, man. I ain't know you. I think I remember you and Jermaine fighting, but I don't remember the Sean Bay though.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about you and Jermaine. I think because that was because y'all both was leaving and coming back, because he took a break for a while as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So 1998, we're gonna go right there. The National Golden Gloves, man. Matter of fact, let's start that whole transaction from the locals all the way on up to becoming on top of that, winning that one.
Man, listen, I was so confident, man. I was, you know, Hillcrest, and you know just as well as I do, Hillcrest fighters, they wasn't as flashy on the scene because our trainers, they was old school.
Yeah, they was.
So, you know, we wanted to be like Burgess AC. It was cool. They had good uniforms.
Yeah.
I remember the gold and blue, you know, Ham AC. They was cool. We was always hard knocks,
real talk,
structured, do everything. So I wanted to prove something that, you know, somebody gonna come out of Hillcrest. We used to always, you know, we weren't the most skillful, but we was in shape.
Yeah.
That's one thing we was in shape.
Always.
And we just learned as we went.
Yeah.
So in 98, you know, I was just blessed, man, just being focused, working at the post office, being a carrier, and just one fight at a time. And I won a championship. Nobody went the distance.
So when that happened, when you heard, ladies and gentlemen, a 1998 Golden Glove national champion, Lamont Pearson, how was that feeling going through your head when that happened?
Man, it was, believe it or not, man, nobody really know, man, but I told my cousin Raymond Jackson, I said, I'm gonna take this one day at a time. I'm no blue chip fighter. I didn't have national championships on my belt, but what I had was experience, and I had the mental strength to get through it. So, I mean, I'm fighting. I'm not looking for nothing big. So when I won it, that's when I really said, damn, you know, I can be all right at this.
Yeah.
Right? Then I was so fortunate at the time, Gene Molivinsky, Keystone Insurance. I got hooked up with one of my bowling boys, Donald Wilson.
Okay.
He used to fight back in the 60s. He fought, he fought some older guys. He fought older guys.
Okay.
He's, you know, the generation, a couple is behind me. But he hooked us up. He said, man, I saw you fight, man. You can do it. You can get it. I'm gonna hook you up with this guy. He got an insurance company, and I get back with you. He called me the next day, said, man, he want to meet you. And I was like, man, he want to meet me? I said, all right, let's go. Man, nobody knows. I mean, only me. Nobody knows this. I met with a guy, and instantly, he got into boxing from there.
Wow. Gene
Molivinsky.
Wow.
Good dude, man. Father figure, business, straight up guy for me, for my experience. He gave me $15,000 signing bonus.
Wow.
Bruh. Hey. He gave me $15,000 signing bonus. And I was back then it was like, I mean, so, you know, being a businessman I am, I opened up a store.
Okay.
You know, I opened up a store with that, and
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I started boxing because I had to I had a job. I mean, you know, I was already set.
Yes.
So
indeed.
I just started elevating from there, and he started giving me the fights. And at my age, I had to move quick.
Right.
I'm 26 now. I had to move quick.
Exactly.
So, you know, they advanced me. You know, the matchmakers and stuff, they just started advancing me, man.
What's up? Now, what was that transition like, brother, going from amateur to pros? And, you know, you had 26 years old. So how was that experience for you taking that headgear off and them gloves, them smaller gloves?
And the 8-ounce gloves, yo. Hey,
indeed.
Let me tell you, man, you talking about nervous. I don't care. I was nervous, man, because, you know, I was nervous. I was so nervous. That's why I trained so hard. Because I didn't want to, you know, let nobody outwork me, for one. So coming into the amateurs, you know, it's more about the white of the gloves clean punches and things like that. 3 rounds. Now you're starting at 4 rounds and 6 rounds.
Right.
So that transition, all that bouncing around, you gotta strategically do that and pick your punches. And at the time, I felt a little bad. The 17, 18, 19 years old that I was fighting.
Yeah.
You know, because I had that man strength at the time.
I can believe it.
See what I'm saying? I had that man strength.
Yes, indeed.
And it's just going back to the nationals, seeing the young guys like, man, it was hitting. I wasn't even feeling it.
Right. I can believe it, man.
So all I was doing is standing and stand.
Nah, they going out.
So, you know, so now you transition to pros where you got guys with 50 fights and they more experienced. So you know, I just use my talent and instincts, you know, to get through.
Yes, indeed. So, what made you? I know you did it. I see that. I look at the Keystone posters. You, Dale Matchett, Heru Carter, and Keith Hurst. How did they come along as well? I know they part of the
man, I got stories. These are you getting it first on Second Wind Boxing Media right now.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know if they ever told you, bro. Let me tell you how that happened.
Okay.
Donald Wilson. He was a friend of mine. We used to bowl together, and that's how I met him through bowling. And he said he boxed. I heard about. So when he hooked me up with Gene Molivinsky, Keystone Boxing, I was so excited. I went home, you know, told everybody, told my mother, told everybody, right? I saw Dale off again, on again, you know, in Hillcrest.
Okay.
I saw Dale around London Woods and Capitol Heights, where I used to live.
Okay.
London Woods. I said, Dale, what's up, man? He said, what's going on, babe? I said, bruh, what you doing? He said, man, I ain't doing nothing, man. Man, you want to fight? Cause you got it, bruh. He had went to the Nationals with me. He didn't win.
Okay.
He went to the Nationals. He didn't win. So about a month went past and I had already signed, and I saw him. I said, bruh, you got talent. You got more of a pro style than I do. And I think you can go far. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up to meet Gene. You got to be real. You got to be real. I'm going to set you up to meet Gene to bring you on. Because my goal was to bring everybody on.
I got you.
He met Gene. Guess what? Signed him.
Okay.
Got some fights. So he got promoted behind him. He got fights. And he started, I mean, if it wasn't for his little medical history, his little, you know, they found like a little tumor or whatever. If it wasn't for that, he was going.
Right.
He was going. He was taking some hella hard fights. You know, he was, I forget the guy's name, but he was taking some hard fights, but he was actually overcoming them and winning.
Okay.
So I got Heru on. I got Keith on.
Okay.
James. I eventually, James, because James went away from Hillcrest. He went with J.D. Brown.
Okay, I know that. Yeah. James left.
James McAllister.
I went to the Nationals with him. My last Nationals in the Golden Gloves was with James. James ain't had no more at the time, about at least 5.
Natural brute talent.
Yeah, he did, man.
We got some stories. I got plenty of stories to tell in the gym, but but I signed him and we put together. And here's the problem, right? The problem, you know, God rest his soul, McCain.
Yeah.
I wanted McCain to come with us, but you know, he was stuck at the Hillcrest thing, right?
Yeah.
And Hillcrest, you know, had burned down and all that. So he had trouble with the transition. And, you know, that's when Andre Hunter was the second at the time.
Okay.
You know, we always had love. We always had respect for McCain, you know, but Andre became our head trainer from that point on.
I'm glad you broke that down. Now that gives me a clarification of why. I know McCain's allegiance to Hillcrest And if y'all made if it was anything involved, I'm sure with bringing him away from Hillcrest, I know he was gonna say no immediately.
Yeah, but I don't at the time, it was no Hillcrest.
Yeah, okay.
Before they built that that little underground thing.
Yeah.
Behind the CVS.
Okay, so y'all was at that it was at what's that, Rosedale?
Nah. Rosecroft come later.
Okay.
Rosecroft come later. It was still, the unofficial, that underground they was building that.
Okay.
Getting the finances ready for that. But it was a business decision that I had to make. It was hard.
I know
it was really, really hard because I'm a loyal person, and I wanted him to come along.
I understand.
He stayed, but I don't think, everybody in the camp got along. Don Wilson and everybody didn't get along. McCain, I love that guy, man. I love him. I love him. Always call him, get advice, but it was a business decision.
Okay. Which is understandable, man.
No, actually, it was his decision. It wasn't mine. Yeah, it was his decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, man. I was always wondering what happened with why he wasn't training you guys. Now I'm glad you clarified it. Hayru mentioned it, went into detail as well with it briefly about it as well when he was on here. So, but that's the difference. A lot of fighters need to understand that when you go pro, sometimes you have to make executive decisions like that because your amateur trainer may not fit your professional career.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So fighters have to understand, and that's why some fighters get caught in that plateau with their careers where they stuck at a certain level because they don't understand that your amateur trainer may not be able to take you where your professional trainer can take you, and you might have to get some more help and hand in there. Now,
it's not only that. It's not to take it to the level because I wanted him a part of the team because of a certain aspects of strengths that he had.
True statement.
He might not be able to take it. You have to be able to make adjustments as a trainer. Not necessarily, getting rid of them, but you have to make adjustments. Your role changes.
Yeah.
So your strengths is conditioning, making sure we're good. This person might be more technical. This person more nutritional. Yeah, because I had a chiropractor. It was beautiful, man.
Y'all had a whole team.
Yeah.
And you brought that up, and Anthony Peterson was all talking about that. That's the stuff that was missing in this area was like nutritionists, chiro, different elements for fighters to have to be healthy in this sport. And he must, when he went away, he saw that in these other camps, that they got all these different experts dealing with different parts for that one fighter. And he felt as though that's what was missing for him.
And stuff.
And what I'm saying, to hear you say how you had all this back then, I see why you made the moves that you was making. And plus, being the Golden Glove national champion is especially at that time, was very prestigious to be a Golden Glove national champion. That was damn near Olympic gold medalist.
Right.
Not that far off.
Right. So, a national champion, man. I still see the names from back in the 70s all the way through current. Feel good. It feels great. It had a lot of champions that came through the national ranks. And speaking of which, Gene Molivinsky, he had us, with the best.
Right.
He put a lot of money in promoting us and making sure that he built a gym in the back of his office.
Yeah. It's still there, still to this day, still.
It's still, he moved it downstairs though. It's even got bigger, yeah. Right, he moved it to another area.
Right.
And he just,
wow.
paved the way for us.
Man,
all we had to do was fight.
I looked at them posters, right? And I saw y'all two. They got it with all the fighters like in black and white. And y'all four are sitting there in color. And to see that you started, you the original of all of those fighters. It was hundreds of DMV legends in that picture. How does that feel to be the first to ever do such with a prestigious promotion company in this area?
Man, it was just a blessing, right? Knowing that, we didn't get where we wanted to go, but they did their part.
Yeah.
They did their part. And all the fighters you see, the goal is almost something like you're doing, bringing the DMV fighters together. He didn't necessarily, the premise behind that, he didn't necessarily promote all those fighters. All of those fighters that you see on that poster fought on Keystone Boxing's card one time or another.
Yes, indeed. That's what I thought, man.
Yeah, that was the thought behind that.
And that was a wonderful thing, because remember, boxing got a little dry during that time before Keystone got involved. They definitely lit a match and got fighters some fights and start actually encouraging and motivating other promotion companies to
Yep, because I know ballroom boxing had kind of dried out.
Yeah.
Ballroom boxing, that was big. That started there. And then once they dried out, then Keystone, I fought at the Glen Island Gold Room.
Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah, I did see that. I saw some tapes on that stuff.
Yeah, I fought at the Arena Sports Complex.
Over there in Upper Marlboro.
Yes, right. I fought at the Armory, all promoted by Keystone.
Wow.
Big promotions.
Yes, indeed. Now I remember those times, man, and it was great to see y'all, man, locked in, man, getting that work in, man, for real.
Yeah. So, all the work, man, the gym work, man. They spawn Hayru, spawn Keith, James McAllister, and Dale. Oh man,
I know that was some
you talk about Showtime. All the work was done in training.
Yes, indeed, man. I'm gonna let my brother C's ask a few questions for you, brother.
Okay.
First one, I want to know, man, I admire you, man. How in the world did you box and Curry Mill at the same time? Because I can't even Curry Mill and hardly do this podcast.
I was one of the ones that you call a runner.
Okay.
But listen, I was a runner. I only stayed at PTF for 90 days. I got my own route on my 91st day.
Okay.
So I was blessed in that aspect. You can understand that, right? So I didn't get on the there was no overtime. No overtime for me. I did 8. I got out. I had to take my kids, pick my kids up, go to training. After training, I shut my store down and go home to the family. And one time, like CBS came out and stayed with me the whole day. They couldn't believe it either. Looking back, I don't even know how I did it, bro.
Wow.
I was focused. One thing you didn't see, I never drank, never smoked, never partied, never been on the scene. Sorry, Rashid, he called me like 2 years ago for the interview. I was a little nervous. I don't really do interviews like that. So I am a student of the game, and I keep up with it on the background side.
But I'm gonna say this, man. I thank you for being, coming out for me, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Anytime, man. I love what you're doing, man. I've been peeping. I've been watching. I say you on the move, bro. I appreciate it, man. We trying
to keep that up. Y'all like what y'all doing.
I thank you, brother. You got it, C's.
Yeah. Now I want to get into a couple of your fights. The Harold Warren fight. It was like your first big step up fight in the pros. How did it feel to get that KO in that fight?
At the Lincoln Theater. That was at the Lincoln Theater. I know he had like 50-some fights. He never been stopped. But like I said, when you look back, I was laser focused.
Mm-hmm.
When you say laser focused, now, and I look at fighters now, right? And I ain't gonna say no names. I'm just gonna say fighters. When you look at fighters and when you know they're hungry and you see their weight class at 130, when they first come out, you see they chisel, they about 2 years down, they got some fights, 3 years, they still at 130, but don't look.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about making the weight.
Yeah.
You look at that fight, he couldn't stop me. He couldn't stop me, but he was coming, he was southpaw, and for some reason, I threw one uppercut under and brought it up top, and I was like, hey, and any fighter that says otherwise when they knock somebody down, the first thought is, don't get up. Don't get up.
Yeah,
Man, stay down. Stay down. Stay down. And then when they stay down, that instant first surprise, he stayed down. He stayed down. You wish me stay down, yo. But some hits when you do hit a guy sharp and you know it's over, you hit him, he hurt. Yeah, I knew it was kind of ended.
Okay.
Yeah, so knowing I was a skilled fighter, I knew I was for that next level.
Mm-hmm. Now the next one is that Salido fight. How awkward was he to fight, or was he that awkward back then, or did he just get that awkward later?
Let me tell you the story with that one. And he beat me. First of all, there ain't no excuse. He beat me. Now, I had trouble cutting weight, right? No problem. Normally weight, it wouldn't come off. But the thing about it, in that fight, he was like, because I was overconfident. Let me tell you, ESPN, it was on ESPN. ESPN was back and forth, right? ESPN, oh, you the man, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Mr. Pearson, no, he's asking for more money or he's gonna back out. Right? He like 14-8 at the time, right? 14-8. He's 14-8 at the time. ESPN said, well, he's gonna back out. So that's an internal back and forth. So give him more money. I mean, what you want me to do? So they gave him the money. I think they gave him 5,000 more. And he fought. So now, and he want to quit. Confidence. And he trying to quit.
Yeah.
Man, he don't want to fight. He's 14-8. But that dude, then we get in. It was in Arizona Celebrity Hall. That ring was like a sponge.
Oh.
That joint was so slow.
Bad for the legs.
That joint did not cooperate with me at all.
True, yeah.
My normal in and out. He was just throwing punch. He ain't throw nothing significant. He was just outworking me. And I'm steady trying to, and he just outpointed me. And with my mindset, like, oh, it wasn't until like 6-7 rounds, like, hold on, this is 14-8.
Yeah.
He's coming. So he later became world champion.
Yeah.
And I respect him for that. So,
Yeah.
That was the story with that one.
My next question was, out of your 4 losses, they're all the world champions. Either current at that time or or future. Do you take solace in knowing that was the level you was on? Because like 2 of them was because of a hand injury, and then but being that do you take solace in knowing that was the level you was on?
Yeah, I really do. But the regrets I have, right? Nobody knows this. First hand, second win boxing.
Exclusive.
Hey, yo, exclusive. Throughout my career, we started coming up to these fights, right? Carlos Navarro was the first one that I had to make a decision. And to this day, do I regret it? They wanted me to quit my job and do a training camp. Full-time boxing. I got a mortgage. I got kids. Well, 1 kid at the time, right? I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. And I still, to this day, what if, we're going to just take it up there. That's my skill level at the time. I could never make it over the hump. Gene Marlovinsky and Mittendorf, Chris Mittendorf, my matchmaker, he got me where I need to be. Every single time it was up to me, I just couldn't win that fight. You read my bio and how many times I fought for the national champion. You know, you get a national champion, that's your next step for the world. It set me up nice. Set me up really nice. So I just take it as that. I'm that fighter that never could win that big fight to get over the hump.
All right. So I think Lou asked a question in the chat. Are you still involved in boxing?
Nah, I get asked that all the time. Boxing takes a lot of time, and I'm young in my life right now that I'm not being selfish. I'm not ready to get back yet because I do things outside of boxing. You got to be dedicated, man. You got to be dedicated, and I'm like an old school guy. I've tried it a couple of times before I relocated, and I'm not that trainer that's going to just wait for you to show up. What I mean by that, Rashid, you can, if we say 6 o'clock, if you don't call me and it's 6:30, man, I'm gone.
Facts.
Right. I'm not that trainer like that. Like, I can, communication is key.
Again.
Huh?
And Mike don't want to train you again after that.
Exactly. So if you're not doing the right things inside, I'm like an old school, I'll probably be really difficult, with today's athletes.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on the state of boxing as of today?
Going right into the old school, I respect everybody making their money, business-wise, right? But when it comes down to chatting and bragging rights, they not fighting the champions. And I ain't gonna step on nobody's toes and give my suggestion. You know who paying you? You know who paying these purses, right? We are.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if we want Crawford and Spence to fight, the public can say we ain't gonna buy no more tickets to these two fight.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All this crossing the road and all, man, come on, man. That's
right.
But again, I'm not gonna knock them for business. I'm not gonna knock them. That's the business. That's the state we in. If they can make money like that, that's fine. I'm not gonna knock them, but I would like to see them fight more champions.
Well, that's been a big issue over here on our part, man. Was that these fighters are not fighting each other, man. They definitely, back in the days, everybody fought each other. I mean, even from the amateur perspective, it was two guys, right? They was top-notch fighters about to fight each other. One joker, man, we getting ready. I'm trying to pump it up on the DMV Boxing. I'm trying to bring the old school Golden Glove rivalry back.
Right.
One of the jokers didn't show up, man. So now, he gonna say he was sick, man. I was like, man, this sport didn't change, man.
It changed, bro. It changed in a blink of an eye. It's all about business, man. It's all about business now. Yeah. And I can't knock them if they're getting the millions for fighting the number one contender.
You're right about that, brother. They getting paid though. They are eating.
Because if I was in that position, let's say I made it, right?
Yeah.
I probably would be thinking the same thing as business.
Damn right. Still be fighting. I mean, you would have still been fighting then if you would have had that same number like they was offering.
Exactly.
Offering now, that decision wouldn't have been hard to make between whether your job was important or your career. But they didn't have those opportunities like they do now.
But
those numbers, I'm talking about the numbers.
But man, you know, I'm just a realist, man, when it comes to fighting and interviews and things like that. If you ever seen me interview with my fighter talking about I came out of nowhere, I didn't come out of nowhere. So, right, so when they interviewing and they ask a question, oh, when he's ducking and dodging that joint, man. I'll fight anybody, you know, put on the table with a contract, this and that.
Yeah.
And you want to fight, bro, you already know you the boss. The boxer is the ultimate boss. But I don't know nowadays.
Should be. Yeah.
Supposed to be. They supposed to be.
Yeah, so you know, that's where it's at, bro. I just think they should be fighting more to, you know, but they have a point in why should I put all these hard fights? You know, the public ain't gonna worry about my health. And that's the point they're making. It's a business.
It's a great point. It's a great point at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, coming from a job that got pretty good unions, what do you think about a union in boxing?
Never happened. Never happened. I
don't think it
union in boxing. Union in boxing. I mean, only thing a union would do, and I think they doing something like that will get some benefits after boxing.
Yeah.
Things like that. But again, you got to put into something to get something out.
True statement.
So they will have to put into it, you know, I'm not sure how that works as far as the unions. You know, they got the governing bodies, but you know, everything, my philosophy is run by humans. So
everything has corruption to it.
All right. And that last question I got for you is, how has boxing and the lessons that you learned from boxing impacted your day-to-day life? And what lessons do you take that you implement into your day-to-day life?
Discipline. You definitely have to be disciplined in boxing. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm no nonsense dad, but you know, I'm all about discipline. Boxing has given me a lifestyle to stay healthy. And again, everyone that's listening or going to listen to what I have to say, if I know something is bad for your body, and I know they can say, well, everything soda's bad, but you know, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna drink. It's not in me. I know it's bad. And that's discipline is what boxing has really taught me in life.
Yeah, man, that's like the for most of us, man, that's like boxing is a beacon of morale. You know, it kind of like puts you in a perspective. That's what made me, when I was drinking, stop drinking, was I used boxing as a guide to stop that. You know, I knew my life and how more respected I was before I started doing things like that. And my father always said, it ain't always what you do, sometimes what you don't do that rise and make you the great champion or great person or success in life. I remember visiting you in Atlanta, man, and I was drinking at the time. This was like 2 months before I quit in 2014. I'm going on 9 years almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, bro, you want to drink? Because I was with my business partner. And, you know, we was drinking and celebrating. It's like, nah, brother, I don't drink. You know, I ain't never drink, you know, so I didn't know, you know.
Yeah, you didn't.
But I was proud to see that, because you know that just brought back some spirits of my father, who wasn't a drinker or smoker, things of that nature.
Hey, he was very disciplined, man. I loved him, man. He got me through a lot while we was working together, and you know, I really appreciate the time we spent, man.
Yeah, bro.
We talked a lot of nights, bro. I'm telling you, we did.
He loved you, man. He loved you like a brother, man.
Yeah,
he did, man. So
much respect for him.
For the future of boxing, man, what advice do you have for the up and coming young world champions?
I mean, I often think about, you know, all the talent. And today, even when I got into it, it wasn't a reason why I got into it, right? That's what I wanted to do. Nowadays, I think it has changed. You have to instill, like, if you're gonna do it, be into it, because it's just a hurt sport. And just, it's a lot of talent out there. It's a lot of talent, a lot of potential. There's a different potential and talent. Just, if you're gonna step into that square jungle, do all the things that you need to do. Only you know what you're doing, right? I always say it's a 24-hour sport. All right, what you do in the ring will show what you're doing outside the ring.
Facts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are here watching, please hit the like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Listen, brother, you're welcome here. We're going to do panels. I would love for you to be a part of some of these panels where we have who our best top 5, who our top referee. We come up with many topics, brother. And I know you into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. You already know. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, man, we're going to put some panels together, and we're going to get some of us, other fighters, and we're going to sit down and create, who's the best in whatever category.
Okay.
Whatever we come up with. So you definitely more than welcome, brother.
Yes, sir.
Any shout outs that you want to give out to before we get off of here?
Man, listen, bro, I got so many people to give a shout out to, especially my stable mates, man. I love these guys to death. We don't have to talk every day. I got my stable mates. I got my family, my sister, Missy, Colette, my biggest fans, my mother. Oh, my mother. My mother, I can't even begin to explain what you've been to me in the boxing world and in life. You took your time every day to drop me off after school to be a part of boxing for 2 hours. Every day. Even when I didn't want to go, she made me go. And I thank you for that. I thank all my fans that's been out. I'm gonna try to be more vocal in the boxing scene. I haven't been. I think I owe that if I'm not actively engaged. So I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, DMV Boxing Legends own Lamont Bay Pearson, the second win boxing media. Peace.